So there was a very big tzaddik. His name was the Bluzhiner Rebbe. Very big tzaddik. I think he was in Auschwitz. I think that was the concentration camp that he was in. In the book Tales of the Holocaust, it's written, and his son, who was a Bluzhiner Rebbe in Brooklyn, said over this story many times on Hanukkah. So they were in this concentration camp, and there was no candles, of course, and there was no menorah. Months before Hanukkah, so there was one of the men that worked that was in the concentration camp. One of the Jewish men. His job was to polish the Nazis' boots. The Nazis always had their boots in Machshamam very, 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 very shiny. They were very, very shiny. So he used to polish them with wax. So the Rebbe told him, every time you polish it, take a little wax off, and we'll make a candle. And that candle will light on Hanukkah. So he used to take a little wax, till finally they had a candle. So the first night of Hanukkah, they snuck to the back of the barracks, and all these Jewish people were crowded around the Bluzhiner Rebbe, and he makes the bracha. Bracha ta Hashem Elokeinu v'chol ma'asher k'shno l'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Hanukkah. And he makes the next bracha. She'asa nisim la'avoseinu. God made miracles for our fathers. Vayam mahem in those days. B'zman hazeh. You should do miracles for us now. And then he started crying, and he couldn't make the bracha of Shechianu. How can you make a bracha? Thank you Hashem, Shechianu v'kimanu v'genu l'azman hazeh. Thank you Hashem that we lived and we got to this point in a concentration camp. How do you make a Shechianu in a concentration camp? So he couldn't make the bracha. So how can I thank Hashem that we're living in a concentration camp? And it says that where they were, they had to go to the back. In the back there were many Jewish bodies piled up, not living. And that's where they were lighting the menorah, right next to these Jewish bodies. And he looked at these bodies, and he looked at all these people. How can I make a Shechianu? And he started to cry. So he looked at all their faces, and one of them that was sitting there was saying, Rebbe, you can't light the candle unless you make a Shechianu. It was the first night. There will be a day when our children and grandchildren will be out of this place, and they will be lighting menorahs all over the world. Rebbe, I'm begging you, make the Shechianu. And the Bluzhiner Rebbe, they were all crowded around, and he made a bracha, Shechianu v'kimanu v'giyanu l'azman hazeh. Hashem, thank you that we're alive, and that we'll stay alive. And they stayed alive, and they had children and grandchildren, and some of them are in this room. And he lit the menorah. Candles from wax from Nazi Yamach Shemam's boots. Because Jewish people, no matter what you do to them, and no matter where you put them, you can never put out the candle. You can never put out a ner, which is in a neshama. You can never put that out. Even in a concentration camp. Imagine, I wish that still existed. That ner, what that must be in Shemayim, wax from a Nazi's boots they put together so they could light a menorah in a concentration camp. Mika Amcha Yisrael. There is no nation like Klal Yisrael.